Hi guys, it's your girl Steffi, and today we are going to talk about exporting UVs out of Marvelous Designer or Clo3d. And we're going to do that, move it into Photoshop, and then also bring it into Cinema 4D. So I've actually created this video before on this channel, but that was 2 years ago. Yeah, long time. And I feel like I've learned a lot, I know a lot more, and this is like an update to that video. Also, that was my first tutorial. So yes, I feel like I've definitely improved in terms of my video editing skills. So let's go through it and see what is new. But before we get into it, I've also got questions about Substance Painter and using that workflow. So if you guys are interested from Marvelous Designer or Clo3d, bringing that into Substance Painter using UDIMs and then into Cinema 4D, I've got another video for you, but it's on my Patreon. So if you're interested in that, then check out my Patreon and it will be there. Alright, we are in Clo3d, and if you guys got Marvelous Designer, don't worry, this technique will also work in Marvelous Designer too. So we have my avatar in here. I have this one that's imported from Daz, but of course you guys can use the ones that is already in Clo3d or Marvelous Designer, or bring in your own one as well. So we are just going to build a quick, let's make a t-shirt. Let's keep it simple, let's make a t-shirt of some sort. So let's just do this. Bring this down, there we go. Put our points here, pressing X on my keyboard. Putting a point here as well. And we are going to curve this by pressing C on the keyboard and curving it for the neckline. Same thing here, well, we have to adjust this, so move this down a smidge. Over here. Also try to bring this in a bit. We can add the C curve here on this side. And then just readjust to see however you guys want to make your top. So we are just going to make some sort of t-shirt here. Not going to be too delicate on the details because that is not the point of this tutorial, but the perfectionist in me is looking at all these lines thinking, it should be symmetrical. Okay, so we're gonna press duplicate, Control D, and that will duplicate it on the same side, and it will be linked, which is one of my favorite shortcuts for sure. And then we are going to press this side, and we are going to merge them. Done. Now, what we're gonna do here is, let's see. We've got the front, now we need the back. So we gotta make the back, and we gotta copy and paste this, Control C, Control V. There we go. Control C and Control V. Bring this to the back, and what you guys will notice is that the darker side is the normals. So you see the lighter side is on this side. That means this, we will need to reverse it. Just change it this way. Okay, now it's time to sew. So of course, since we've got the links editing on this, I hope it's gonna work on this, where we don't need to sew twice, but we shall see. Yes, it worked, fab. I tell you, this is my favorite tool. My favorite tool to use for sure, the duplicates. Okay, yes, this and this, that is fine. And now we can sew it. Well, that was great. We will have to redo that again. If that happens, we will have to, what I recommend is actually just moving it up a smidge and also moving it closer to the avatar. Because what happens is when the gravity pulls it down, it will just fall down the body. So we're gonna try it again and hope that it doesn't fall down this avatar's body. Nice, that's what we wanted. Thank you. Okay, so now we are going to make the sleeves. So for sleeves, we need some rectangles. Let's get some rectangles in here. And we're gonna rotate it again, move it over, up. And just, you want to line it up to the arm. Make sure that it will fall nicely. Make it parallel to the arm. And I just spotted a mistake. I know I wasn't going to be too precious on this, but I see this part protruding here, so I want to just quickly fix that whilst we're at it. So that is to do with this curve of this, so I'm just going to fix that. That should be fixing that side, and then we got to do it on this one as well. And that should hopefully fix most of it protruding out there. Yeah, something like this. Okay, yes. Come on, Steph. Focus on what this tutorial is about. Okay, so we have the sleeve. Let's add some points to it. We are going to press X on the keyboard, and we are going to right click on this line, press uniform split, number segments 2, and press OK. Then what we're going to do is bring this up, and then we are going to add 2 more points, I believe. I am not too precious on these, and will actually just eyeball it this time. To be honest, most of the time I do eyeball my measurements, and it might not be the best way to do it, but it works. Now I feel like in order for this to wrap around this arm, we need to make it wider, so we need to make this wider. We'll drag it over here just a little bit. Yes. And move this over here. Okay. And what you need to do also is press C, and we're going to curve these points out as well. So make sure this line here is a nice smooth curve, as smooth as you can make it. Now I'm just going to sew these to the sleeves now, to the armhole. Let's see how we're going to do this. So this is the front, this is the front. So what we're going to do is press M, go from down to up here, and we're going to follow the same here. Only to halfway. So now if I press B, you see that red number there, and I can see it's -34. That means it is out, it's too big. So you want to try to get the red number down to 0, and that will mean that the armhole is the same length as the sleeve. But I usually get it close to 0. You don't have to get it perfectly to 0. So I'm just going to make this a bit smaller. Let's see, if we press B, -27. Okay, so what we could also do is probably make this part go down. So it's just a lot of tweaking when it comes to this. Tweaking, preference. You guys choose how you want to design your garments. Okay, now if I press B and go back to this sewing line, -5. We're getting there. We are getting there. So we can make this go down just a little bit more. Just a smidge. Edit it and check one more time. -0.7. Okay, that's pretty good. So we need to sew the other side. Now the other side, other side is this side. So what we're going to do is sew from this side to this side. Yes. And always check your sewing lines. Check that they are straight. Otherwise you will cry later. So we will simulate this, and hopefully this should wrap around the arm quite nicely. Nice. One thing I forgot to check, sewing lines on this side. Let's check. What is the sewing line? I'm pressing B, 0.8. That's actually not too bad. Checking this side, -0.7. Okay, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. So now we are going to sew this side to this side, pressing N to this side. Yep. Okay, now we shall simulate. Nice. I mean, we kind of got some baggy sleeve situation going here, but that's okay with me. We could actually make it a bit longer, don't you think? So we're gonna just extend this line a little bit. Resimulate. If you get some funky parts like this, just be patient and pull it out whilst it's simulating. Just give it a little nudge. There we go. Nice, nice, nice. Okay, so this is one side done. We need to do the other side. My favorite tool comes in handy here, so you're gonna press Ctrl-D, and we're gonna paste it to this side. And look at that, all the sewing lines already there. I love this tool so much, honestly. Favorite tool. So just align it. Align it to the arm, make sure that it's fitting it nice and snugly. Please do not put it near fingers. Fingers are just the worst enemy when it comes to simulations. We want to move it away from the fingers and make sure that it fits snugly. Okay, that looks alright. We can simulate. Okay, cool. Nice. So what I'm going to quickly do is fix the back, because the back doesn't always go down the same length as the other one. So, well, the back doesn't go down the same length as the front. It usually is a bit higher. So we're going to move it up here. And I know this looks funky, but trust the process. Trust the process. So we're going to reduce the curve. We might even have to put this down just a smidge. Yeah, something like that. Okay, now it's looking a bit too big on that side, so we can reduce it. Or we can actually just pull it out. Let's see. Give it a little tug on each side, but it does still look a bit baggy. So what we're going to do then is just reduce this. Move this in a bit more, and that should help it not be so baggy for sure. And move this side in a little bit more as well. Yes. So we do that one more time, just to make sure. We're going to move this in just a little bit. And this side in. Fix the curve. Nice. Okay. Now we got to check the front. Another thing is, what I've noticed is that it's looking a bit rigid. I don't know about you, but I can see all like the hard edges. So we are going to have to take this down a notch. And by that, I mean head over to your particle distance, highlight everything, press Ctrl A, head over to your simulation properties, particle distance. It's 20 now, but we are going to make it 10, and that should make it a lot smoother. Okay. Now the front, I want to fix the front now. Bear with me, guys. I know I said I wasn't going to be a perfectionist on this, but it is bugging me a bit. So let's see what we can do here. Okay. See how Steffi is going to fix this. Even just here, the neckline, we can curve it. So all I did, if I control Z that, what I just did was, you see here, you see how it looks like it's gone to a point? We don't like that. No, we don't. So the way to fix that is look at your neckline, just make it curve a bit more. And that has kind of fixed it. And the same on this side. The same. Make it a bit more curved. Okay, it should be a little bit more flowy. All right, let's not get too precious about this. The point of this is to learn how to texture with UV maps. So we're gonna roll with this for now. Okay, so of course you guys can make trousers, you guys can make skirts, whatever you want, shorts, but I'm just gonna stick with top for today. So before we go to the UV map, I want to show you guys about the textures and the different layers you can do with these textures. So I'm just gonna name this main top. Now, if you guys are going to have this main top as green, for example, one texture, and it's going to be green for like the sleeves, the main top, then keep it like this. But for those who want to customize it a bit more, or want to perhaps make this sleeve a different color to this sleeve, then what you guys want to do is to separate it. So I sometimes separate it and I sometimes keep it on one texture layer. It depends what you need it for. So I'm going to put this as sleeve 1, and we're going to copy this and we're going to put sleeve 2. Now I'm going to press on this and we're going to assign it by pressing this button here, and the same thing here, assign it. Now sleeve 1, what color should we make it? We can make it purple, why not? And sleeve 2, we can make it yellow, yes. Now, this is not the final colors. I just tend to do this in my workflow because color blocking really helps me to see what goes where. And for me, it's especially useful for when I'm working on more intricate pieces. So once you're happy with this, then we go over to Simulation tab, UV Editor, and this is where we're going to build our UV map. We've got the patterns here. You see this? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. Now, what's really important and what I've learned throughout the 2 years of doing this is that you gotta scale your stuff proportionally. Now, this is something I didn't do in my first tutorial. So if you guys don't know what texel density is, please look it up. Okay, what do I mean by that? Well, I will let you know. So for example, let's say in order for us to organize this into one UV square, you know, we would have to put it into one UV square, which is this, from 0 to 1 and 0 to 1. That is one UV square, right? So as you guys can see, they do not fit snugly and they are kind of stacked on top of each other. You do not want them on top of each other. So what we got to do, we've got to scale them down. Now, a mistake I did in the past was like, okay, let me scale this one down here. That will be okay. And this one here, yeah. Oh, look, that will fit, right? At least you think it would fit. It does. But the problem with this is that because these sleeves are now scaled down and they are not the same size as each other, they are not the same size as these main tops here. So the problem with that is when you come to texturing, these green ones here are going to be higher resolution. And then with these ones here, they're going to be low resolution. And I had this problem when I was exporting my stuff to Photoshop and I saw my textures and I thought, hold on, they looked really high res in Photoshop, but when I put it back into Cinema 4D or Clo3d, they look really low res. What is going on? Why do they look blurry? And this is the reason why. I'm going to press Ctrl Z all of this. Okay, this is why you have to scale proportionally. So I think you just got to highlight all of them actually and just do this. Yeah, scale them all at the same time, at the same ratio, and you will be okay. Yeah. Now this technique works really well for objects that have a simple pattern and they can all fit onto one UV square. But there comes to a point where you're going to work with like trousers and socks and gloves and hats and whatnot, and all of these extra bits and bobs, and it's not all going to fit onto one UV square unless they're really tiny. And that's when you guys will start to use UDIMs. Now, I will explain that in my Patreon video for those of you who are interested. But for this tutorial, we are only going to talk about using one UV square. So let's see how we can organize this. I want to optimize this, right? Like this technically fits, but then there's so much space here. So we kind of want to play around with the sizing of this. So let me see. There must be a way. We could even rotate these actually. Let's see. We're gonna make the tops this big. Okay, that looks all right to me. And for the sleeves, we are gonna rotate them round. And I wish there was a rotate 90 degrees button in Clo3d and Marvelous Designer, but it doesn't seem like they have it. So you're gonna have to manually just rotate them round. Okay, make sure they don't overlap. If they're overlapping, then that means we need to scale this down just a little bit until they fit. Okay. Move this here, move this up here. I'm sure there's space here, space here. Let's have a look. Okay, this is looking not too bad. Not too bad at all. Okay, I'm happy with that. And we should be able to move on to finally exporting and heading into Photoshop. You're gonna head over to File, Export, OBJ. Save the OBJ where you want to save it. Now, what you want to choose for this export OBJ, we don't want an avatar, we don't need you. And we can have it like this. I'm going to have my image size as 2048, but that is totally up to you guys if you guys want it bigger or smaller. And I will just press OK. Make sure to save with absolute texture, image, file path, and press OK. And it will export it out for you. So find the folder that you just saved your OBJ in, and you would get something like this. Okay, now this makes it a lot easier to pick up in Photoshop, and I will show you guys what I mean. So let's head over to Photoshop. Okay, so I imported and dragged in the OBJ image that we just exported, and this is the same UV map as we did in Clo3d, so exactly the same. So this is where you guys can put textures, put colors, up to you what you want to do. So for example, let's get the paintbrush, and actually let's make this all different colors, shall we? We could, for example, let me get this magic wand, highlight all of this, hold shift, and we could add a solid color and make it like all this different color. Okay, so you could do stuff like that, or if you want to, we could, for example, you could just click on one, go back to this layer, click on one of it if you just want to edit this leaf only. And if we press a new layer and we just hold up and we just make this 100%, you want to draw a design, right? And we're just gonna add another one on this. There we go. Actually, let's make it less blurry. Let's put some funky graphics on here. Yeah, you want to put something there. You want to put some type on this one, let's say. On this layer, we're gonna say hello. Hello, and we can make this bigger, so a lot of fun doing this. And we can make that, put it here on the sleeve here, or we can make it massive. We could make it massive, couldn't we? The world is your oyster, you guys. This is the fun part, especially for me. When it comes to 3D, I love texturing. Okay, this is when I realized that hello is not aligned with this. My UVs are not straight, but that's okay. We will just adjust to our UVs. Okay, so okay, that, and then if we got shapes in here, let's see, we have a polygon, and we can make that, let's choose dark blue. Okay, have a design here, you know, some sort of design. There we go. Actually don't like that, let's do it again. Let's do this again. So, you know, stuff like this, and of course you guys can import your own designs. Okay, so let's just say something like that, and if I save this, save as, or we're just going to export it actually. Right, so we're going to export this as a JPEG, and you guys can put this into a new folder for your edited textures. So now we have this. I am going to go into Cinema 4D, and we are going to show you guys how we're going to hook this texture up back to our OBJ. So now we are in Cinema 4D, we are going to import the OBJ first. Go to File, Merge Objects, and find your OBJ. Okay, our OBJ is here, but where is it? It is actually all the way up there. Now what I've noticed when I import a lot of my garments into Cinema 4D is that they are massive. And I usually use the standard cube as a good like scale so you can compare. So with my outfit, I am going to go to coordinates, make it smaller. We are going to make it 0.1, 0.1, 0.1. Yeah, make it a lot smaller than it needs to be. Well, currently it's massive, so yeah, it doesn't need to be that big. And get rid of the cube. Now you can see this looks exactly how we had it in, of course, in Clo3d. Now, how do we change the textures? Well, of course, if you guys use Cinema 4D, you guys will know it is in the materials here. Now, we've got 3 textures. Of course, they are named as well. So please, when you label your textures in Clo3d or Marvelous Designer, make it clear because it does come through in the next program. So we have the main top, sleeve 1 and sleeve 2, and all we gotta do is actually just go to the texture, color, texture. We gotta load in the image. Now it's currently reading the OBJ image, the original OBJ image. We want to import the one we just exported from Photoshop. Okay, so you see that? It's changed that, and let's scooch in a bit closer. Let's go to, I'm sure we could copy shader and just do the same thing. Is there a paste shader? Oh yeah, we love copy and paste. Okay, paste it. Okay. Now, I know it looks very pixely right now, but let me just show you guys what it looks like when we put it into Redshift. Okay, so this is what it's looking like. At least you guys can see like anything that we change in this. So for example, if I was to put it, I don't know, let's go to this layer here and paint something here. So, and a smiley face. Okay, nice. And a star. That's a very ugly star. Yeah. So if we were to change the design, and if I was to export that, where is exports here? Export as JPEG. And you're going to save it on top of what we designed before. So I'm going to replace it. Yes. Now go back into Cinema 4D. Reload image. You see that change? Instant. Okay. So this means you can quickly tweak stuff and go back and forth and see if you like it or not. So let me just go around. Do you see that? My little squiggles, my little sketch there. So that is pretty much how you import it, the textures, and how you can customize it any way you want to, from Clo3d / Marvelous Designer to Photoshop to Cinema 4D. Now, you guys might be thinking, but Steffi, it looks hella pixelated. And I'm like, yes, it does. I'm not gonna lie with you. It does look pixelated, but trust me, when you render it, it will be okay. So for example, if I show you what I would usually see in Redshift, I use Redshift always. I love Redshift. I've sold my soul to Redshift. So if we go from the render settings, if we change from standard to Redshift, okay, that will just allow this little tab to be opened here. And if we just turn on the Redshift render view, there it is. Do you guys see that? And now you guys can see it is nice and clear. And this is how it looked at the end. And that is the video. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys found that useful and insightful. Hopefully a definite step up from the video I made 2 years ago. And of course, once again, if you guys are interested in Substance Painter workflow, then head over to my Patreon to check that out. Or if you want to see this process live, then head over to my Twitch channel. I stream every single week and you guys can see the process from beginning to end on Twitch. Make sure to also join my Discord channel. We have a wholesome community on there and I would love to chat to you guys. But that is the video and thank you so much for watching. If you guys have enjoyed it, then make sure to subscribe so you guys get similar videos to this. And I will catch you guys in the next video.